So I finally bit the bullet and bought the Bush Company 270 XT. I had done a fair bit of research on 270 awnings to see what was going to best suit. Bush Company aren't the cheapest, they're probably one of the most expensive ones, but they do look one of the strongest as well, best quality ones. All the other ones I had seen seem to have issues with different things with the main bracket at the back where they swing. I couldn't find a lot of things wrong with the Bush Company one, so I decided I'll save up my money and spend the money on that and have something that's going to last. So fingers crossed it's all good. But yeah, we'll go through and show you how to install it. I'm going to have a go at installing it myself, and yeah, I'll show you that process. These are the brackets that come with the awning, with the Bush Company 270, and they're just like a universal one to fit onto a whole heap of different racks. I'm fitting this to the ARB Base rack, so I've opted to go with these Kaon brackets. They're specifically made for the ARB Base rack, and the way it clamps onto the rack just gives you a really good fixing. You're clamping onto the edge to the side of the rack, but then also on one of the cross beams as well. So you just get a nice fixing. It's going to be really strong, and that's obviously what you want when you're hanging one of these 270 awnings, because one of the freestanding ones, because all that load's getting transferred to these onto your roof rack, so you want the strongest possible fixing you can. Okay. Yep, so this is the hinge side. So that's going to go towards the back of the car. And this is just some tie down things, I believe, for if you got really strong winds, you can tie it all down, some pegs. Yep, so that's what that is. I mean, these are pretty strong, so you don't really need these at all, but if you're keen on having it standing, I guess, in 30 knot winds, then you might. Okay, let's give you a bit of a closer look at this awning. So I've got tape over where all the bolts slide in, so they've got that over the track. So they've got the tracks that slide in there. You can see this is where this is the main bracket, the main hinging parts. So it's all pretty nicely welded, nice coating on there. Now, so the first thing to do here is to put the Kaon brackets up on the roof rack. So we're going to get those in place, so then we can slide the bolts into the awning and get them in the right position and tighten those up, and then bring it back down, and we have to fit it into the bag. So we're going to position those brackets so then we know where the bolts are going to come through the bag, and then once we've done that, then we can put it up again. So you can see here we've got that bracket there. This is the main bracket. It sits on this outside dovetail section. Let's see if this angle's a bit better. It's that dovetail section, and then that cross beam dovetail section as well. So you can see how those tabs just push in and they sit in that little groove. And then you've got a little bracket from the bottom here, and that sits on the bottom of that dovetail section. Then you clamp it up, and then there's no way that it can get out. Okay, so I'm just going to nip them up. Okay, that's nice and solid there. Let's get this one on. Beautiful. So we got that on. Now just a few more. So I've got one at the very back. I'm going to have one at the very front, and then the third one I'm going to put more towards the back here, because this is where I want it. This is where most of the weight's going to be, is towards the back. So I think having two close there towards the back will be ideal, and then one's going to be at the very front there. So we fitted the base plates, so now we're going to fit off these face plates so we can actually start putting the bolts through for the awning. You can see there's a whole heap of holes here so that you can actually adjust the height of these brackets to suit your vehicle. With the Y62, I think I'm going to have it all the way up to try and clear the tailgate as much as I can for that rear arm of the Bush Company 270. Well, let's get these fitted and see how that looks. So these brackets take 3 screws, 2 on one side, 1 on the other. So now this is the tricky bit, to sort of figure out how high or how low I can go. I think I'm going to have them high like that. I will have a look. Worst case, we can change it. They've got little nylon nuts as well, so they won't come loose. Just get those started. Yeah, that is nice and solid, hey? It's what you want. Guess technically you could do this down the bottom, but it's a bit easier to get to this middle or this front fixing point without them on. It's all stainless steel hardware as well, so you don't want to go and tighten these too much, because they'll just strip. Beautiful. Got it up here. I've got this tape off the back of here, so I can go and slot these bolts in. You can see here that they've got that little cutout. You can get that in there and then slide it across to where you need it. Okay, what I also noticed just now, there's a few longer bolts and there's a few shorter ones. So just make sure you use the right ones. You can see this back plate sits up a little bit, so really the ones along this face need longer ones, because I'll probably space them out the same as that lip, and these ones, they'll still need to be long as well, but they won't need any washers. So these ones here along there, I'll be putting washers along there to just have it sit even. So just make sure you use the longer ones. So we've got 4 there, and then 4 at the front as well. So I've got these big straps, and I'm going to get them over the top. Now we're going to, pick up this awning, feed it in these loops, and then get it up to where we need it, and then start lining up where the awning is going to sit on the actual rack, and then also line up where these bolts are going to go. Okay, obviously you want to be pretty careful doing this, especially by yourself. But we're going to try and slot these through here. Get that in that sling. Get it in that one. So now it's got the weight. Now we just have to line it all up. Okay. So I've got to make sure that when this swings around, that it clears the roof rack and everything like that. So this is where it pivots from. So if I stay in line there, that's going to go straight past at the back of the rack there. So that's actually pretty good. But yeah, now we'll get the bolts in. So what I'm going to do is just put a strap kind of pulling the awning back towards the car, because it's just sort of hanging directly in line. So I want the bolts to hold in while I adjust them all. Ideally I had the car moved over a little bit, but is what it is. Is what it is. So that's just gonna just help keep it over there. So we'll line this all up again. Go up just a touch. Okay, so I've got those back ones in line, so I'm going to pull that tight. This is still, the back's still good. Those ones are all lining up. Now I just have to do those front ones. Okay. They're all lining up. Tighten all those bolts now because they're in position, so we're going to tighten those up so then they stay there, and then we're going to pull the awning off, fit the bag, punch these through, and then lift it back up. I've tightened up all the bolts now, so when I remove this, they will stay where the brackets are, so then I can go and put the bag on. I'm just hoping I've got this in the right spot. I don't really know until I open it. I know that it's going to open and that bottom bar is going to go along there behind the rack. Just hoping that that's going to work. And then once I've got the bag on and I put it up, I can actually adjust the height still to go up and down with the whole awning. I'll just see how it sits with the tailgate of the Y62. I know that they do hit sometimes. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to try it out and see. Again, being really careful to not scratch the car with all the bolts and stuff hanging off it now. Now, we want to go and get that bag. With the bag as well, you've got the little logo, the Bush Company logo. That goes on the very back, so where it swings, and it goes obviously face out. So just make sure you have that the right way once you put it all in. And yeah, I'm going to go and get it in, try and get it centered as much as possible, and then start pushing these bolts through. So I'm going to zip it up, so I've got it nicely secured in there, and then I can sort of just see how it sits. I'm going to try and push it back a bit. I think the awning's rolled up a bit funny at the moment, just it's a bit lumped up at the front here. We'll just see if we can get this zip in. Oh no, there's a bit of room at the back. I need to push it further back. See if we can get the zip. There we go. That. Okay, that's in the bag. So you can kind of see, I'll show you a bit closer, but you can see where they're sticking up. So that's where we're going to poke them through. But just make sure before you do any of that, that the bag is sitting right. Flip it over, have a look. I think I've got the bag pretty well centered, and so it's centered that, you know, lengthways and then also this way, front and back. Want to make sure the zip's sort of on the very bottom, not sort of at the back or too far at the front. The logo's in the right spot. It's nicely centered as well. And I'm just going to try and make sure that this zip is pretty straight as I push these through. I want to make sure that lines up pretty good, just so it's nice and easy to use. And then pushing these through, so what they do recommend is sort of finding where the bolt is and then using a knife and cutting like a cross over the top of it. I've just seen people do it, and you sort of see that they get pretty close to cutting, you know, too far, and I don't want to slip and cut into this nice bag. So I'm going to show you a different way that I've just tried. Just use a hammer, and you just find where it is, and just hit on top of it. You don't want to hit too hard because these are stainless steel and they're quite soft, so just go easy. You just take your time. It might not be as quick as, you know, with a knife, but you get a nice round hole. That's that bit. Just tap that off, and there. I'll show you. You can see how nice these holes are. So I think it's better that way because it's less likely to go and tear where the cuts are. Not that it's going to tear anyway, but you know, this saves you sort of cutting through the bag too much too. Just go around, kind of around the edges of the bolts. Just like that. There you go. Easy. It's another one. You can see that the holes are nice and round. Don't end up with cuts sort of to the side, so it's just less likely to rip, less likely to let water in as well. Now that we've got those through, we're going to open the bag up, loosen those nuts off, take the nuts off the bolts, and then push the bolts back through these holes, and then we can go and lift it up and fit it on. So now it doesn't matter that the bolts can float now, because we've got the holes in the bag, and that's going to obviously line them back up. These are the straps that hold the awning up, so I'm just going to, like, holds it when it's all wrapped up, so I'm just going to open that up, put it over, and then poke those the bolts back through. Just line them back up, push them through with the holes. Just takes a little bit of wriggling around. Okay, that's them all through. Just going to tuck that in and then zip this bag back up. We've got this all packaged up nicely, ready to go up there. So yeah, the moment of truth now. Going to make sure I put these washers up there to space it away because of that. Remember that plate I was saying sits out a bit further, so there's washers supplied for that to go and space them out. Yeah, let's see. All right. Okay. Now I've got this strap here again to help pull it towards the brackets, so we'll get that set up. Okay, so I've got to go and put those washers on the awning side of those brackets, obviously to space it out, so I'll go and do that. It only needs it on the front two. Going to line them up now a bit better. Okay. Tighten that strap up. So what I'm going to do is just put a few nuts on those back ones just to keep them in, and then just line that front one up a bit better. Okay, so we'll just start tightening some of them up now as well. So I've tightened up the front one. I'm just going to make sure that the bolts are sitting in the same spot on these brackets. Tighten up one of those and then go along and tighten them all. That is solid. Just got to tighten a few more on the back here. Alright, I can't get into some of them, I'm just going to use the spanner. Okay, get some of these straps off. We don't need them all on. We don't need any of them on. Okay, just going to nip these up. I can just get in here without hitting the car from the bottom. It's pretty handy. Alright, just the front one, just to nip up and just make sure they're tight, and then we'll give it a buzz. Okay guys, this really is the moment of truth. We'll see if it works. See if it works, see if it's in the right spot for the back. Yeah, here goes. So it's going to fall out because those straps. Throw it back there. Okay. Got that. We have enough room. Well, it's still up there. I'm just going to tie it off and we'll see what it does. You bloody ripper. Yeah, that's solid, hey? Very good. Now let's check this boot. So I'm pretty sure it does hit, but I'm kind of up as high as I can, so it just touches the top there. I can get under here fine, so that's not really an issue. I'll put a bit of rubber or a bit of foam or something there. But I mean, look at that, like, seriously. Yeah, that's sick. Very good. Yes. You can see it hits the tail lights there. We've got heaps of clearance there, which is nice. But yeah, how good's this, hey? No poles, bloody awesome. Quick setup. Seriously stoked as, and it wasn't even that hard to put up. It's a bit of messing around just because you got to get the bolts right for the bag, but I mean, that's wicked. My light there, still good. This one's a bit blocked. I'll just tuck that up there. Sweet. So good. So the only issue I might have is with the shovel. So the shovel is going to go there, so I might have to take it off or just try and push it a bit further back. But yeah, that should be bloody good. I was going to go the XT Max, but I don't know. I was trying to save on weight because we're going to be towing the caravan, and it's an extra 5 or 6 kilos or something. You do get the extra shade out the front, but you know, and it costs a fair bit extra. So I think this will do us. and yeah, plenty of shade for us. We can always put a wall, get a wall made, or put that down there. Let's pack it away, see how easy it is. I'm guessing pretty easy. Swing it back around. I'm just going to get those straps out that I'd put in before, because I haven't obviously Velcroed them before, so they're still out the back of it. There they are, just out the front. Cool. So I think get it in there. Just fold it up a bit. I'm going to put that in there as well. Just roll it up. There it is. It's the bloody easiest awning I've ever used. So that's the install, guys. So yeah, as you can see, it's not that difficult. It's just a little bit of sort of up and down, up and down. You can do it by yourself if you can hang it by the roof like I did. If you guys have got any questions about things that I didn't show, or you didn't quite understand what I was kind of talking about, just chuck it in the comments below, and yeah, I'll go and let you know how I did it. And yeah, but we'll see you in the next one, guys. I'm going to obviously do a review on how this works in the real world, how it holds up to the wind, and yeah, just how it works on the beach for us. So we'll catch you in the next video.